Okay, so I'm going to be driving and talking again just because I can. Not the greatest angle. I haven't got the right hold in my mum's car. I've just been down to get her tyres, and so she's all tired up now, which is good because I like her safe. And I'm walking around town because the garage was running a bit behind for tyres and other things, MOTs, and didn't want to wait around in the garage itself. So I just walked into the city centre, and it's really nice to see some life there. It's really nice to see a few people not wearing masks, but it's really sad to see the majority of them wearing masks. Workers literally nearly passing out because it's warm inside the shops, and they've got these masks on 8-9 hours a day. So the ramifications of that are going to be known. It's not good. So basically, I can't walk past homeless people. Even when I was dancing in town, I always had to either go and get them something to eat, stop and talk to them. So this guy caught my eye, a homeless guy sitting outside of Greg's, and he looked poorly, he looked pale, not intoxicated with anything or anything like that. So I said hello to him if he'd like anything to eat, and he was really honest and said, "Somebody's already getting me a mince pie, thank you, love." Oh, there goes a bag. And so I said, "Would you like a drink?" And of course he said that would be lovely. He was so polite. And I said, I went and got him a drink and just asked how he was, asked if he was all right. This man had been discharged that day out of a hospital, one of our hospitals. Clap for the fucking NHS. The NHS that Boris has been selling off and privatising throughout this period of time. It's always been his goal. This guy still had his arm plate on, his arm band on from the hospital. You know, if you get admitted, to put an armband on with all of your details on. He was that fresh out of hospital, he still had that on. They knew he was homeless. And he's got what he described as trout foot. And he showed me his foot, and his toes are rotting off. He can hardly walk. Any other time, that man would have been put on a drip, put on antibiotics, and any other treatments would have been started there and then. He would have been admitted, obviously, particularly because he's homeless, and very much so needs a very clean environment in order to get control of this foot. You know, it's tracking up. He would be, given good nutrition. He would be kept hydrated. And they've said to him, because of COVID, because he's not in immediate danger of death, he has to be discharged. They knew they were discharging him to the street. So he asked that he couldn't be discharged. He asked if he could stay. They said to him, "No, we've closed down wards, and we're only taking very severe COVID patients." This is in Newcastle. And I'm not just taking his word for it. I've heard many stories like this from all different walks of life. And basically, that would have never, ever, ever happened. So he'd asked again if he could stay, obviously protesting as much as he could. He was so polite and so quietly spoken. And he asked again if he could stay, and they said, "Well, we can organise you a hostel." A notorious hostel. Bearing in mind, the guy described that he'd spent 2 years getting clean of everything, and you could tell he was clean. Clean of everything. And he was so frightened to go into the particular hostel that they mentioned, because it would be taking his life in his hands in more ways than one. One, he would be around, it's a crack house, he would be around crackheads. Two, it's very rough, and he was a very polite, svelte man, slim, not a bad bone, I don't think. Not the energy I got off him anyway. And I didn't know what to do with that. I didn't know what to do with that at all. Abby gave him some money, because she was there at the time. Abby gave him some money of her own. and she's working hard to earn her money, but it's nothing to her. And I'm just so proud of her that it was nothing to her, because we asked what would help tonight, what could we do tonight. And I swear to God, if I had my land already, I swear to the gods, if I had my land already, I would have pitched him up a tent. So it said for £7.50 you could get a safe room in a much safer hostel, not pleasant by any means, but in a much safer hostel that he could be safe in. So of course Abigail's £10 covered that. But you walk away, one, filled with pride, because you don't even have to ask your children to react in a certain way. They've been brought up properly and they react appropriately. You treat him with respect, with dignity, but with compassion too, and with an intuition of how to meet someone's needs. And I'm super proud of that. And it's not even to blazon that over a recording, over a video. What it is to say is this country has been changing. But over this last nearly 2 years, it has changed so dramatically that a place that would have never, ever been allowed to discharge such a man is doing it under the guise of COVID. Now, one of the other major stories is the NHS is now facing a £1 billion bill. Again, another money laundering scheme. But they've got rats. Because they've closed off so many wards and they haven't been in use for so long, they've got rats. You know, rats are everywhere, and particularly around hospitals. But you know, when they're busy, built up, things are moving all the time, footsteps moving all the time. You know, they stay in their lane, they stay in the gallows, in the bowels of the hospitals. They don't, you know, come up. Now there's dangers in this. You know, there's implications of them chewing through wires that are very much needed. There's implications that it's an expense that did not need to be done, and more so it represents an expense of people not being able to have the due care that they need for other conditions much more serious than so-called COVID. There's such a discrepancy between them calling out to say clap for the NHS and sorry I'm smoking, but I'm trying to give up. I'm doing better, but it got me. You know, they're saying clap for the NHS. You know, do your bits, and we're doing this because we care so much. We're doing this because, you know, we love you, care for you. When in a matter of fact, it's yet another way to kill off a huge swarm of the population that has been left behind, and that's the homeless. And I don't know what to do with that. I'm driving back. It's a beautiful day. I've met beautiful people. He was a beautiful person. And I don't know what to do with that. Because I have to have my wise mummy hat on and know that, you know, there's certain things I can't just introduce to the children. I can't just pitch up a tent in the garden and say, hey, oh, come on. Although I'm sure that man would have been nothing but appreciative and fine and safe. But I'm a single mother and I have to make allowances for that to be sensible. More sensible than I can sometimes be when my compassion drive goes into overdrive. And so yeah, I'm just talking to you guys in the past that you're going to hear in the future, because I need more subscribers to go live. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate all of you. You all know who you are. You know, the brothers and sisters that I've had the pleasure to be building business and also build such connections and communications with people who I adore and who I know it's another avenue for me to be able to put out something, feelings, my not knowing what to do with things out to people who I know are strong enough and wise enough to be able to listen without it having a detrimental effect. Trying to explain to the children why this is happening, why they see homeless people. It gets every one of my kids. It gets Abigail, William and Theodore. Is difficult. Because why? You know, that man in particular did not need to be on the streets. He should have been on a hospital ward, dripped up, you know, IV'd up, monitored up, antibioticed up. And he's not. He's not. This government has failed. This government no longer works for the people. The people are beholden to it, this entity, this being in itself with lots of different little cell-like Borises running around, ruining the humanity that is found in the UK. We're friendly people, good peoples by the whole. And so it's taking away the capacities for us to be able to show that. And so it's for us, I suppose, to get more active, do more things to fix problems ourselves, like homelessness. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to try and do something. Last year I raised money, the year before last, I raised money for Deliver a Crown, and I raised money, and it didn't raise enough, as much as I wanted, but I added to it myself, and I was able to deliver, you know, either chicken and veg or turkey crown and veg to people who wouldn't necessarily be able to afford it, you know, at the season, at Christmas time. And I think that's more of the American term of Thanksgiving. You know, you give, and you give with thanks, and you receive with thanks. So I'm nearly home, and I really just appreciate you being here and listening and letting me speak, and already knowing that you've got pearls of wisdom that are going to make me go, all is well. So I love you all, I appreciate you all, and I'll see you real soon on Wayne's show. Party on, because he's excellent. Love you all.